Prices worse. Talking about Venezuela once again. To make important thanks. They removed the 1,000 thing on there called monetary awareness.
RTD News Check-In, Saturday edition. Wanted to plug in for a quick minute and share with the community just some interesting developments in the cryptographic space, cryptographic token space, and hopefully my audio and internet is good. But wanted to just check in for a quick minute, share with you some things that, of course, I can't let go by. I just can't let it fly, just because I feel like, there's a small few of people out there willing to, give both sides of the story rather than just focus on the positives. Let's also focus on the things that contradict the narrative that the mainstream media would like us to follow. And it has everything to do with Bitcoin and everything as to where it's heading. And so Mayor Suarez, 2 weeks ago at Davos, gave a nice little video interview, just shining more light into how the public-private collaboration and the reinvention or rebranding of money utilizing cryptographic tokens and blockchains is how it's how can you not talk about stuff like that? So anyway, I wanted to check in for a quick minute and see what's going on. So let me know via the chat if the audio is good. And said you're darker than normal. Yeah, just in the lobby of a hotel. So doing the best I can. But anyway, as long as you guys can hear me, make sure, because I won't be long. Just wanted to check in for a quick minute, share with you some recent developments, and we can keep it moving. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday to date. Let me make sure everything looks decent. Then I'll get into my little spiel here, because I had over the last 24 hours, I had like a little tweet storm where I had a variety of thoughts I wanted to put out there, and I actually tagged a couple of crypto influencers in hopes of people, sharing their thoughts or whatnot. So we'll see. But yeah, so let me just jump right in, man. It won't be long, but I hope everyone's doing well. So came across an interesting headline that came out yesterday in reference to the mayor of a city in the United States of America, Miami, deciding to become the primary evangelist over at Davos 2 weeks ago. And it flew under the radar until Cointelegraph, which is another, I'm not sure, another globalist sponsored entity decided to shine some light on it. So real sweet and simple. Let me just share with you on my screen here some of the details so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then I'll share some of my little tweet storm. And once again, just be that guy that likes to share the alternative narrative to what's going on. But listen to this quick little synopsis via video, and I'll give you some more insights to it.
Bitcoin is the most powerful, most decentralized, most unhackable, and most powerful force for democratization in the planet.
This is Francis Suarez, the mayor of Miami, also known as the Bitcoin mayor. Suarez has been on a mission to transform Miami into a global crypto hub. He proposed a plan that will allow residents to pay taxes and receive salaries in Bitcoin. Last year, he became the first US lawmaker to accept crypto as part of his salary.
I hodl it. Maybe one day I'll give it to my children and they'll use it, or they'll be able to buy a home with it, or who knows.
In this video, Suarez explains why Bitcoin has all the chances to become a truly global currency.
Teaching people and trying to evangelize why this is technology that is generational and going to impact, hopefully positively, the lives of many, many, many people. So it's a bit of a different role. In Bitcoin Miami, I'm hometown, it's home turf. Here, it's like playing an away game.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So what is your main goal? Do you want everyone to use Bitcoin and crypto in the US and then become a global currency? Or do you have other ideal ideas that you would like to promote to the world?
I think Bitcoin as a global currency is very realistic and very possible. And it could have a tremendous democratizing opportunity, and also an opportunity to disrupt, socialist regimes, because you can't control the currency, and it can be interchanged peer to peer, and then it will have a stable global trading market. So I think that's what makes Bitcoin revolutionary. That and the fact that it's not human controlled in terms of the algorithm, so that you don't have things like hyperinflation. The inflationary quotient of Bitcoin is known in the halving schedule.
All right, so I figure I'll spare you guys all that. You guys go check it out further if you want to for yourself. But it just plays into more of the narrative of what I've been talking about. How more of the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together. How can more people not see through the smog as far as what's being put out there with these narratives? Because it becomes problematic because it plays right into the fourth industrial revolution, rather, with the push for adoption towards using digital assets as a new medium of exchange and all the other stuff. It just bothers me, and I feel like I have to continue to just shine light on it because, once again, as I said before, not many people are going to take this stance just because it goes against the grain. It goes against the grain. But what I want to share with you real quick is just more insights into that whole spiel there. So for those, I talked about Davos. Everybody knows that took place last 2 weeks ago, and they had a much bigger agenda than what we're being told. So they literally came together for that 3 or 4 days, and there was dozens, if probably not hundreds, of meetings focusing on how to restructure the global monetary system, as well as the political system, as well as the social economic models, you name it. But then again, one of their primary focal points was the new payment structure of what's coming. So here's just a little, synopsis of all the events that took place. But I wanted to shine light on, this here, because World Economic Forum, we have a mayor, an elected official of a city in Switzerland. Like, what in the world would a mayor be doing in Switzerland at Davos during the public-private meeting of all these globalists coming together to talk about the future that they're creating for us? And he's there representing who? The city of Miami, the state of Florida, or what? And these are things that people just don't really care about. Like the fact that you got the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and all his buddies are more than excited in trying to usher in some new form of a currency. At the same time, crypto regulation is about to become something that will take effect probably later this year. And so there's a lot of things in this article I thought was mentioning, but he's an evangelist representing whoever in Florida, trying to convince the world how Bitcoin is a decentralized, trustful. It can disrupt socialist regimes. All those narratives that these people out here are using. It's complete hogwash, man. But he's even talked about in this little article, in this little video here, talking about MasterCard and how basically by MasterCard coming into this industry, it can help. And to me, the thing is, I thought it was supposed to be disruptive. What happened to disrupting the old payment structures and gateways and banks and things like that? But it's fall right into the hands of the original designers of this, and people don't seem to really care much about it. But anyway, I want to go through a couple of my little tweet storms that I put on Discord and on Twitter, just sharing more of my skepticism towards this whole revolution. And so yesterday, I put out a nice little hefty one. Oh no, this is actually a couple hours ago, but let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I put together a couple of different graphics here just to highlight my point that everything we're experiencing now is right on time. We were told about this 34 years ago, and none of the Bitcoin maximalists or crypto evangelists out there really want to touch on this angle. And so I thought that I would get more response from tagging a couple of people, but nobody seemed to really want to touch it. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to press the issue just because we're falling right into the trap of where they want us to go. And once again, I got to be 100. Got to be real out here. But here's a little thought. It says Bitcoin to become a global currency? Question mark. It said, what a coincidence that the mayor of Miami makes this statement at the World Economic Forum 2022, and the Economist cover in 1988 already told us to get ready. And so the fact we have this guy out here talking about the need for a global currency is not coincidental. It's just interesting that no other news sources decide to report on this, that are public officials in Switzerland having no business there representing the city of Miami other than the continual collaboration of public-private mergers. Then here's another little thing I have to go back to, because more people need to talk about the cover that was put out there. The Economist cover is fully here now. We should all be able to see how the agenda was to get us ready for a world currency. And that world currency happens to be what everybody seems to be excited about. And whether it's a particular chain or not, no, it's the technology itself, which is the blockchain distributed ledger technology, which, as I mentioned, the financially oppressed are excited about it, as well as the monetary oppressors. So you have everybody being extremely excited about one particular direction. to me, it lets you know that something has to be wrong. But we'll keep plugging along. And here's another visual aid here of an article that I came across that basically just the author of this tied in seamlessly why it's important for regulatory clarity to become something that governments start working on so that it could help this. So it says the crypto assets in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. And so you can't completely revolutionize something unless the governing structures, as well as all the clarity as to how both public and private will be using this technology is basically given to the masses. And so there's multiple articles out there helping helping the governor or politicians, figure out how they're going to do this. And then I couldn't help but throw this in there too, because this is exactly where this type of technology is taking us, but nobody seems to want to connect the dots. And I understand the enticement of profiting off this is too strong for people to push back on. But a part of the whole fourth industrial revolution is that by participating, whether willingly or unwillingly, you're a stakeholder. And that stakeholder concept goes right into the whole ESG narrative that ties into this as well. So as you guys can see here, it just gives you a map. And of course, we're well underway now towards the fourth industrial revolution. We are in the midst of the Great Reset right now. And the future is already mapped out in front of us. People don't want to seem to talk about some of the common denominators of what's taken us there. And even just being willing to push back and just to slow things down a little bit so we can get more truth out there without trying to pump or hype up a certain project or coin or project or whatever. They're trying to literally steer us towards a solely digital world. And most people just don't seem to go along with mind that. But out of all the things on the screen here, I think at the end of the day, with this cryptographic digital ledger technology, CBDCs, blockchain, proof of work, proof of stake is about to become a very hot topic pretty soon. I'm going to talk about another rant in a minute. But it's all about the payment processing systems. And so it has to do everything right here. It's at the very top, mobile devices, basically utilizing this technology through our phones so everything can be seamlessly ran through a more centralized controlling mechanism. Of course, CBDCs will be the central banks, but then again, the blockchain space is ultimately going to shift right into the hands of the too big to fail banks because it's written all on the surface, but most people want to touch on it. But anyway, that's just a little my first rant or from today. But let me give you another little Twitter I put out there. So this is, I think, from yesterday, and I'm gonna just share a little bit of everything with you. And I encourage you to get more of this stuff. Just follow me on Twitter or Telegram or Discord. But from I think it was Thursday night's live stream, I talked about in the middle of that live stream, I talked about the concerns of energy and how pretty soon, in order to go green, in order to go net zero carbon emissions, we have to address the power sources for everything that we use. And so they're not only going to try to regulate your day-to-day carbon footprint, whether it be your energy consumption, the food intake, and everything to do with your residence and cars, so all that stuff will be regulated down to the T if this stuff is not stopped right now. But here's the point I've tried to make with this. After making that rant on Friday morning, I saw this, and it has to do with the White House to craft a Bitcoin mining policy addressing energy use. And so here's something to think about. If Bitcoin is so disruptive and it's supposed to be the bank slayer, the bank, whatever it was sold as, why is the White House looking to formulate strategies and teams to help out something that would be disruptive towards, the central bank digital currency model? And so when I saw that, I'm thinking like, man, how come people not see that Bitcoin and the decentralized ledger technology is not competition to the governments, because they need it to succeed in order to execute their agenda of convincing people to be willing to cooperate and go digital solely. And so when the White House is coming out willing to support its competitor, helping the Bitcoin mining space to work out its energy uses, to me, it looks like more of a setup like never before, because you better believe as more people get excited about going towards digital currencies, they're going to flip the script. And the true colors of why we're heading in that direction will come out eventually. And it's going to come out in the fight against proof of work. And so I did more little rants on that, but to just bring it home here, how can Bitcoin be competition to the dollar and be the escape out of the dollar when we got our same government talking about helping it out? these are just questions that people don't seem to want to ask or talk about. But I'll keep it going, and let me keep it moving. So I see there are glitches and everything out there. Nothing runs. So I see. Let me see. I see some. All I see is a brick wall. You got this. Yeah. Let me know if everything okay. So maybe things are not working as smoothly on my side as it should be. Forgive me. So I'm up here talking. All you guys see is a brick wall. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I apologize. So it looks like this rant might not even be worthwhile because yeah. So yeah, this is not obviously not going to work. So yeah, once again, like on my side, I can see exactly what I'm talking about. But yet, if you guys see just a brick wall, then it defeats the whole point in having this live stream. So I apologize for the hiccups, but other than being in the lobby, let me see here. Yeah, so it looks like nothing I said was actually shown on the screen. So this was no good to anybody because you can't really see it. And so this is not an ideal presentation when I'm trying to show you guys via visually, but I see it perfectly on my screen. Not sure why it's not coming on yours. So it may not work, but anyway, this is so it's these type of hiccups and glitches that throw off everything. But I'll save you guys a headache there. But to get more of the little rants I was talking about, I would encourage you to go to the Twitter and Discord because I put all the little tweets there. But my point was basically what we're going to have now is more of an encouragement from the regulators. And so as a part of the tweets I was going to put up there, it's going to talk about Senator Loomis as well as Representative Baer, the two baby boomer politicians that are out here promoting and pumping and excited about getting some type of clarity on cryptocurrency. And so from the tweet that you guys wouldn't be able to see, I talked about how, if our politicians had that same level of enthusiasm and excitement about just talking about lawful money in general, referring to gold and silver to remind the public the importance of gold and silver, just from a monetary history standpoint, our country would be in a much different place than it is now, rather than them, to me, showing their true colors and who they're really working for. And then the individual aid, it was more information as to how the cryptographic push and the crypto and the regulatory clarity needed plays right into the timing of the fourth industrial revolution rollout because it's all interconnected. And so we can't get into the new monetary payment structure until there is clarity with the monetary system as far as how digital assets and CBDCs will be conducted on a national level in this country here. And so you better believe there'll be some clarity coming soon. They're going to pass some bills. The HR 4741 gives more of an idea as to what we can expect, but more than likely it's going to be more fine-tuned. But ultimately, and I put in a tweet that you guys can't see, but it's about more so taming and limiting the options that the consumers, the retail investors have access to, and then also taming what I call the crypto wild, wild west with, 11,000, 12,000 different coins and projects out there now. They need to start reeling that in right now, and they will. And let me tell you how they're going to reel that in. In another tweet I put out there, I was referring to Michael Saylor's tweet this morning about the how proof of work is, let me see if I can. So I'll see if I can. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the live stream, but I see it perfectly on my side here. But I find that to be very strange. But if you guys could see this here, it'll give you more. Let me see if it does pop up all of a sudden. But if not, I will just talk about it. But anyway, in this tweet, which came out about 2 hours ago, Michael Saylor basically says, proof of work is money, proof of stake is credit. And so from that, I basically said that get ready for a consensus war. And that consensus war will be between the two algorithms that have dominated the sphere to this date. And from prior episodes, I talked about how the proof of stake head honcho happens to be Ethereum. And if you go back through Ethereum's history, you'll see the founders and the financial backers of it, which happens to be the banks and the tech companies. At the end of the day, proof of stake will win because the proof of work model is going to be slammed by big tech as well as the government as being too energy intensive, and they're going to basically have to eventually change the code and the algorithm consensus models for proof of work, therefore eliminating the hardness of they say Bitcoin is the hardest money because proof of work, you actually have to work to validate each block. But then again, if the government and big tech companies eventually, once they suck in more, the institutional money, they're going to change the code. They're going to have to change the code because you can't have two different blockchains out here giving people options. So to me, it becomes quite obvious how the pathway that they're taking us heads right into the fourth industrial revolution. And over the last 10 years, it's been extremely exciting for a lot of people because it shows the potential of the technology if used for good. But unfortunately, because once again, just follow the money. Whoever puts the most money in will control the algorithms. And you better believe proof of work will not be what it is 4 or 5 years from now, if it's still around in the same way it is now, because of the green energy push. Bitcoin mining is extremely energy intensive. Like, the fact that they've dialed back on that narrative should let us know that it's going to brew up again. And one of the little Twitters I put out there talked about how proof of work and proof of stake it's already been talked about as the alternative comparisons. Which one is better? Which one is better? So they're setting up the crypto community for the consensus war, which will be here if Ethereum is rolled over to a proof of stake later this year, the way that it's supposed to be. And if if Ethereum goes to a proof of work, proof of stake, and it's successful, meaning that it does all the things that it was intended to do, makes the chain less clogged up, make it cheaper for transactions, and allows all the other aspects that they're trying to sell the world on. You better believe Jamie Dimon and the banks and all those people, they're going to come out strong, talking about proof of work is energy intensive. The mining companies is all that stuff. And the best way to really confirm this, in my opinion, look at the recent bill that was passed inside of New York, talking about the need for the government to regulate the mining of Bitcoin because of the energy. That's in the state of New York. That is the mecca of the financial capital of the world, i.e., Wall Street. And think about this, when the politicians in the state of New York are given instructions from whoever they're given from, if it did not impact the bankers' proceed or money profitability off of that space, to me that's an indication that the banks are the ones that's pushing this narrative to create this stir between the proof of work, proof of stake, so that they can then through the pockets of the politicians further be able to crack down on the different consensus models. Ultimately, they're going to proof of stake. I mean, that's going to be the primary use tool. And then proof of stake has its benefits and its flaws, because once again, it's going to be gathered into the hands of a small few. And you better believe, as I said before, based upon Jamie Dimon and his early investment in Ethereum, Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan they have a large bag of Ethereum that they're sitting on, and whoever has the biggest bags will ultimately make the rules. And so, to me, it's just so obvious to see how different technology, same game, same players. Where's the disruption? Where is the undo the unbanked and giving people a chance to choose and all stuff like that? Those days are long gone. So anyway, I just wanted to check in for this quick rant and just share with you some Twitter feeds, which I wasn't able to do for whatever reason. I don't know, but yeah, Bitcoin is right where it's supposed to be. They told us this on the Economist cover, that the world will be looking for answers. And how convenient is it that the blockchain, decentralized ledger technology space, distributed ledger technology space, happens to be the preferred method from the tech company, the governments, and the banks. You know what I'm saying? And the maximalists out there that think that crypto is going to save them. Now, we're being sucked into a digital metaverse. So being a stakeholder in all of this digital revolution stuff is a small fraction of your percentage of your stake in the metaverse and all the other stuff they're trying to create for it. So anyway, man, I'm kind of disappointed that my graphics wasn't working, but it is what it is. So I'll probably end up, when I got a better signal, re-highlight some of the things I was talking about. But anyway, just want to check in for a quick minute and share my 2 cents. Hopefully this was of value, just to shine more light from the other side of the aisle. Want to just basically let people know we're being led astray, we're being duped, and people are stakeholders in their own financial demise, and they're not willing to talk about it. So yeah, like as I mentioned, for those that came in earlier, I tagged a couple people on Twitter, just showing my case as to how transformational is all this Bitcoin digital ledger technology stuff when we were told that we were going to need a solution at this exact time. And it happens to be the very same thing that the banks and the tech companies are excited about, and the governments. How are you going to be excited about something the government's excited about, thinking it's disruptive? To me, it doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. But anyway, not going to rant anymore. Yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed that couldn't show my visual aids, but it is what it is. But anyway, just want to check in for a quick minute. If you found some value here, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for subscribing. And one thing I would put out there, if you guys are interested, take this video, or if you guys could have saw any of the tweets I put out there, tag some of your favorite crypto people. That's the only way we can get dialogue going, where we can show both sides of the coin and give people the option of being able to choose, whether or not they're going to follow the hype or come down to reality and realize that, they're a willing participant in the fourth industrial revolution, because it's here, it's underway right now. How could you sell people on, or not sell them on? How could you pull off the greatest financial heist in human history if you didn't put something in front of people that enticed them to be wanting to be willing to participate? And that's what this is about. Dangle carrots in front of people with a dollar sign next to it. Tell them it's going to be transformational. It's going to change the world, and you're going to get more freedom and get out of the government hands. And then all of a sudden you dangle that carrot there. People are like, oh man, yeah, I get to take back my own financial sovereignty. I got my private keys, right? But think about the chain you're on, the blockchain you're on, whether it's proof of work or proof of stake. Whoever wrote the code and also control the consensus determine the outcome of those coins, people. Anyway, yeah. So I see in the chat, John talking about, getting your weight up. It's never been more important now, in my opinion, to get connected in the real world, because the lure and the enticement of going digital is so strong now because of the profit that can be made in the short term. People don't realize that they're forfeiting the long-term benefits of real world usage of items. Of course, gold and silver is the anchor to everything, but all the real things is being stripped away from us: food, water, land, shelter, you name it. It's falling into their hands, especially as they look to add more of this stuff and put it onto a blockchain that they wrote the code for, that they control the consensus of. We see how this is all cyclical. It's more the same thing, just different method, different same players, different method, and people are falling in love with it. But anyway, did you tag me because I got booted off of Discourse? Tony B, I didn't boot you, man. I didn't do nothing on Discord, but still keeping my weight up. Okay, so anyway, been about 30 minutes. I apologize for the hiccups, but once again, it is what it is. Hopefully this was some value to some people, but yet, trust nobody, be skeptical of everything, and validate it with real world proof. not just solely trusting the code. Anyway, be blessed, be safe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.